And we're good. I like this. This is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Welcome to Don't Feed After Midnight. I'm Steve.
And I am Mike.
You're actually seeing us today in our uncut isolation hair right
beauty.
now. It's pretty cool. This head's getting shaved. It's going to get shaved pretty soon.
Yeah, completely.
I can't handle it. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah, my hair's getting to a point. My beard was getting all nasty. I had to get rid of that.
It was pretty long. Last time I saw you, it was pretty big.
Yeah.
I'm recording right now in the basement behind my bar, which I thought was kind of a cool spot to record. It's a little bit different. Lots of knickknacks. I've had to actually spent like a good 2 days kind of clearing some of the stuff out. I never used it because we have a 2-year-old. We don't have people over for parties and stuff a lot. And I just kept putting stuff back here, but like Nintendo Powers and stuff. I try to make it look kind of nice.
It's a cool little corner. It looks pretty sweet.
Little is very right. When I was a teenager, living in Detroit, we had a bar in the basement, but it was a long stretched out bar. This one's like a hexagon kind of shape, so it's a little cramped for 6'3", 250 pound Steve. But I got my Lord of the Rings stuff here. Burger King from when the movies came out in like 2000 or whenever.
Oh my goodness!
I'm drinking scotch in it. I think when I got it, I had like soda. But at least I would have. I don't know. No, I was drinking age back then. It probably was beer. But pretty cool though. But I've been. We were going to talk today a bit about like what we've been doing to kind of pass the time. See, now I'm on camera the whole time, so it's going to be a little weird. You're going to see me all my weird twitchiness. My lava lamp looks weird. I found this lava lamp. I thought it was kind of funny, but it makes me feel old because nobody has lava lamps but old people now.
I got one, and I don't know where it is, but it's. I like lava lamps. They're cool.
I forgot it was down here. I was cleaning behind the bar. I'm like, it's a lava lamp. I got that in like 1994.
Oh my god!
I think it's the same light bulb.
I think the lava might come alive.
I don't know what that stuff's made of. It looks exactly the same now as it did then. So,
that's crazy.
That's kind of weird. But I've actually been playing an MMORPG called EVERQUEST again. And EVERQUEST came out in 1999. Now, Sony bought it from Variant. And these guys got together. And there is still technically an EVERQUEST. You can play it. Yeah. But it's a shadow of what it was before. It's all easy. When you start the game, you can hire like NPC characters to come with you, like
companions right out the gate.
And it's lame, and you can teleport everywhere you need to go. There's instances.
They made it super easy, so now it's like you can be a new person to it and not have to worry about the struggles.
Well, it's like WoW. If you're going to go to a dungeon, you have a lot of instancing, so things like that. So like, if you're in the city, it's multiplayer, but if you leave the city, everything is contained within your computer, so it's a little instance of just you out there in the field. But with EVERQUEST, it's not like that. The entire world is open. So while you're out there, if you leave the city with somebody, you're with them forever. You see people pass you in the way, people walk past you, and the sense of community in the game is incredible. Like I was walking today and I was low on health, and this dude walks past me who was way higher level, and just casts a buff spell on me, heals me, gives me an extra shield spell, or fire flame shield, whatever. That's amazing. And then he gave me like 3 extra, gold. He's like, here, take this. I don't need it. It's making me way too much. I'm like, oh, because there's weight encumbrance in this game. You have to find food and water. You do run out of food and water, and after you hit level 5, if you die, you lose experience points. Not a lot, just a little bit depending on your level. But you can actually go, if you die over and over and over, you can actually lose a level, and you have to kill stuff to get it. Yeah, it's EVERQUEST is the granddaddy of all MMOs. If you do die, you have to go find your corpse and loot it to get all your stuff back. You don't just reappear. Like your spells and stuff that you have memorized. If you're a spellcaster, you're fine. You have your spell book and stuff that stays with you. But your robes, like your armor, your weapons, the gold you had on you, all the food,
jeez,
it sits on your body.
You just lose everything on your body.
And it's bad enough if you're in the open world, because I mean, you could die in a spot that's kind of hard to get to, or God forbid you drowned. Because between the two main continents, or three continents right now, there you have to take a boat. And if there's like a hiccup or there's a lag or something and your character falls off, you can drown. And your body's just going to sink to the bottom of the ocean, and you have to pay somebody to go fetch it. Or you can pay a high-level cleric to teleport your body back to you. But for the most part, you got to go get it, dude.
That
sucks. It's hard as shit. The game, I used to play it on 56K dial-up. And one thing I loved about EverQuest, and I still love about EverQuest, is that if you start saying the equivalent of where California is a little town called Quanos. If you want to walk from Quanos to Freeport, which is the equivalent of where New York City is, it's the other side of the continent.
Right.
It'll take you like 2 or 3 hours to walk and do it. And it's dangerous as crap. Everything wants to kill you.
Oh, geez.
And it takes a long time to walk over there. And then when you get to Freeport, if you want to go to the next continent, it's a good 20-minute boat ride. You know, it takes a long time to get to places. So that makes the world feel like really like
real.
World. Yeah, like huge. And what these guys did, they got together and they wanted to play the old EverQuest. So they started hosting a server with just EverQuest on it. And I've been playing it off and on since 2014. And I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I know that at one point, Sony or whoever owns the EQ license now stepped in and was like, you know, that's BS. You can't do it. And they're like, no, we're volunteer. We're not making any money off of this. It's just for fun. It's for nostalgia. And that's it. And apparently Sony or whatever the company is, agreed to let them do it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So they're not, as long as they don't make profit off of it.
Well, you know what I can't help but think of when you say that too, is that like, I'm not sure how long ago it was. It might have been a year. It might have been longer or shorter. But I'd say give or take a year ago, WoW just, they launched that WoW Classic.
I heard about that.
And it's literally just, you get to play it as it was the day it came out. Like,
that's cool.
Way back in the day. And it's through Blizzard, who actually, you know, made WoW. So like, I can't help but think like they saw what the EverQuest people did, and they were like, you know, that's really cool of them to do as a community. And our community's been asking about it, but they don't really have the capability to rebuild a game that's this complex. So we're gonna let's just do it ourselves. I can't help but think that's what happened.
I'll tell you, it's popular. And you know, modern MMOs, they hold your hand. You know, like my 11-year-old, I set her up with a Neverwinter account on Steam, and she started playing Neverwinter. And she was able to play it because it's very simple. It is difficult in spots, but for the most part, it holds your hand for the first couple levels. EQ doesn't do that. Like, you go out there, when you appear, you appear in your guild hall, wherever it happens to be, and you have a note to give your guild master, which gives you a little bit of experience points, and he'll give you like a tunic. And you start with like a sword or a staff or, you know, whatever you happen to start with.
Well, last MMO I played,
that's it.
Marvel Heroes, which was 3 years ago now. And it was like, you start off and there's like 5 or 6 heroes you start with, but as you go, you unlock more heroes. And I want to say the game had probably 60 some heroes from Marvel to play as.
That's pretty sweet.
And it wasn't like an open world MMO though. It was like closed off regions. So like you could go to New York and just kind of run the distance of, I don't know, 10 blocks maybe, and there'd be enemies to fight. But then, oh, look, the subway station, there's people going into it. You could go into that subway station and then track enemies through it, and it would be like a dungeon.
Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. That's a neat idea.
It was pretty interesting, but they just shut it down last year. And it was on PS4 too for a while. They put it on consoles, and it was like it was the first one I had seen as far as like MMOs going to from a PC to a console platform.
EverQuest did that with EverQuest 2 for the PS2, I think.
Really?
And it was bad. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was good. I shouldn't say.
Well, there's not a lot of them that can pull that off, right? Like Knights of the Old Republic was made for PC and Xbox, the original Xbox, and it functioned all right, but it was just so much better on PC.
Well, you don't have the keyboard. I mean, with
Right.
EverQuest, you
The
have
amount
to
of control,
use,
like,
yeah, use the spell slots. Like I started playing a bard recently.
hmm
I had never played it even back in the day when I played. I never played a bard.
hmm
And you play spells, or not play spells. You play songs, and it's instead of spells, you're playing music, and you can play up to like 3 or 4 at once or whatever. And
hmm
it's a matter of hitting like 1, 2, 3, or 4. Every button you hit plays a different song because it's a different hotkey
right.
on your taskbar or whatever. And like I couldn't imagine trying to do that with like a 4-button controller or a 6-button controller. It would be really annoying.
Right.
Not to mention looking around with the mouse and moving forward and back and being able to do stuff, clicking on things like
Too
targeting.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit. I guess it would depend on the game
You'd have
itself.
to simplify it a lot for it to work on a
Yeah,
controller.
it'd be like when they did Mortal Kombat, and there was all those clones of different versions of Mortal Kombat, and somebody
Hmm
in Tiger Games put Mortal Kombat out on one of their stupid little gray screen Tiger handhelds,
hmm
and it had finishing moves, and it has 2
Awesome.
buttons.
It's awesome.
How do you do a finishing move with 2 buttons on a Tiger handheld game?
For a game that had like 4 to 6 buttons at the arcade.
I
Like,
know. Oh my god,
ridiculous.
I could not imagine that. It's, I mean, it's a simplifying these kind of works to a degree, I think, but yeah, it'd have to be like they'd have to. It'd be hard. You know, it would depend on the game, I suppose.
Mhm.
But yeah, EverQuest is P. You know, it's called P 1999, and basically there's a couple of different servers to play on. There's a
Mhm.
PvP one, which is like literally what it sounds like, player versus player.
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you,
Just a bunch of people trying to whoop each other's
oh
ass.
dude, yeah, you walk out of the city and they're just like the womp, you know, just for
Right.
fun, you know. And the rest of them are player versus environment, which is like the old servers were,
hmm
and it's pretty cool. They just started a green server, which is it's exactly how it was in '99,
hmm
and there's like no expansions yet. So you've got like the main continent, another continent, that's it. And then what they're doing is they're going to follow the progression that Variant did at Sony. So like in a year, they're going to release another uh, uh, update to it. So there'll be a new continent, you know, called
hmm
Velios, and then or Kunark, and then after that it'll be Velios, and after that it'll be Lukeland. So slowly as the years go by, more stuff will open and more stuff will open. And it's kind of fun because you know when it first started there was weird glitches.
hmm
Um, Bards, for instance, and you know are considered a hybrid class. You know they're not a caster, but they're not a
Right. They
warrior.
can
They're kind of
kind
in
of
between.
dip into each like skill set.
Yep, like rangers, same way. So they suffer from an XP penalty,
Okay.
which is weird. And then like some of the other ones, like if you pick like an ogre, there's a lot of different classes. There's gnome, halfling, human, uh, wood elf, high elf, half elf, ogre, troll.
hmm
I think that's it. But oh, and dark elf. But if you pick like an ogre, you have like a 40% XP penalty. So it takes like
Oh,
it's
geez.
yeah. So like if it takes like 100% of an XP for like a halfling warrior to get to level 3, it's going to take you 40% more experience points to get to
So
that
you got
level.
to do like everything twice.
But your strength level, like if you're
You're through the roof.
if you're an ogre, like your strength level, you start at like 140, whereas humans start at 75. So it's the difference in like how hard you're hitting.
Right. So you
But
got to do double the work. It's just it's a
mhm.
lot easier for you.
But there's factions in the game too. So you've got um if you're an evil considered an evil race, evil, you know,
hmm
whatever, you know, if you're like a dark elf, you can't just walk into a human city. They're going to kill you.
Right.
So, and there's ways you can kill your enemies to up your faction a little bit, or if you're an enchanter, you can make yourself look like a human and just walk through. You're fine.
hmm
Um, but they can tell what god you worship because you have to pick a god, and that you know there's like a bunch of different gods. If you pick an evil god to worship, you're not agnostic or whatever. They'll kick you. They'll still kick your butt, or they'll just you know
So it's kind of
they'll
like you're choosing an allegiance, kind of like.
Mhm. Yeah, it's neat. It makes the game very complex. Um, there's high level rating where like you know to get into a dungeon, you know there's a waiting list, you know to get into a dungeon. Like if you want, okay, we're you know my guild's doing it now. We're
hmm
gonna do this for about 2 or 3 hours. When we're done, then you can come in. I'll send you a message and you can text your guildmates and you guys can come in after us. It's okay, you know. So it's very polite, you know, and it's a ton of fun. Like the thing with that corpse retrieval though, which is really strange, is like if you're in lower Guck or you're in one of these dungeons that's really deep in, and
Hmm.
you die, you're boned. You have to pay like a
Right.
rogue. Rogues can sneak, so you'll pay a rogue to go in and get your body and drag the body out. Like that's what they have to do. They drag the body
It's
out of the
messed
dungeon
up.
to you one at a time. Or you can get a cleric that'll resurrect you.
Hmm.
That you can pay somebody to do that too. It's hard as shit. I forgot how hard it was. It's so much fun. I mean, it is really, really difficult,
Yeah,
but
any
I like
game
it.
that has that kind of a mechanic where like you die and then you gotta reclaim your stuff, they're usually the most punishing games. Like I play From Software is one of my favorite developers for games. They have three games, or at least series that I'm into, but Dark Souls probably being the biggest one as far as people recognizing it. But um, it's it's just it's an RPG, but it's single player for the most part. You can do multiplayer, but it's like you can only summon up to regularly. You can summon two friends with you,
Mm.
but there's an item that you can find later in the game where you can use it, and then you can get a third friend to summon. But once you use that item, your likelihood of being invaded by a PvP player is like through the roof. So it's not so like normally you could play the game single player and just be fine. You won't encounter invaders and whatever unless you go out of your way to. But if you use that item because you want to have you plus three friends just destroying bosses and mobs, like you can do that, but you run the risk of having to fight every single person that the game throws at you. Um,
And
but this,
they're real people too, right? They're not.
yes, they're all real people,
Oh,
and
because
they're waiting for the opportunity to do that. So like they'll go to the area and just they'll put an item down that says if someone does that, bring me into their game, and then you do that, and then you'll just see an invader has joined, and you don't know where they spawned at. So they could have spawned right behind you. They could have spawned a mile ahead of you, and like you got to go through the level with the anxiety of not knowing when they're gonna attack unless you see them ahead of time. But no, it's I've got some really funny clips of playing it because it's like there's this item you can use where you eat it and then you turn into a random prop in the map. And
I like that.
we were in the middle of this spot in the woods in the game, and it's where the woods meet up to like this abandoned, destroyed, like overgrown castle, and I became a box like from within
I
the
like it.
castle.
It's awesome.
And I didn't do it on purpose because you don't get to choose what the item is. So it's a random item. You can be a tree, you can be like a random stick, you can be like a whole bunch of shit. But I became a box, and my two friends are running around, and they're like, dude, somebody invaded us. I'm like, it's okay, I got this. And I'm just scooting along the ground as a box. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, I'm getting into position. Just check me out. So I get up against this wall and I just sit there. And I'm like, all right, guys, when he gets here, lure him to me. And they show up and they run down these stairs. And they start swinging on him. They get his health real low. And then he starts running away, but he runs right into the corner where I'm at. And I pop out of box form and just whap him with this sword, and he dies. And I was like, yeah,
That's
it's
so
going
awesome.
crazy.
Yeah,
But
enchanters in EverQuest can change like they'll get a coin on the ground or like a
yep.
lamp post and stuff. That's
Mhm.
fun, dude. I love that.
It's so funny playing games that have that kind of it's just silliness in a
Oh
world
yeah.
that's like very hurtful. Like but no, if you play Dark Souls, you like every time you die, you leave like a pool of the souls that you collect. And if you die twice in a row, you lose all of the souls you collected. You use the souls to level up, so like they're like your currency. Um, and level ups are really important in the game. It ain't like you can get like you're not going to easily get through the game base level 1 with the first weapon you get. Like it's not going to be fun for you if you do that. But they encourage you to level up as you go using the souls. But yeah, if you die, it just leaves a pool there, and you got to make your way through these impossibly hard levels to even get to the spot that you died. And all it takes is one wrong move and one wrong slap, and you're done, and you lose everything. There have been times where I've carried like 10 to 20 million souls at a time just to lose it and be like,
That's messed up.
I
That's
just sit
pretty
there
messed
staring
up.
at the screen like, really, that just happened?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
It happened to me once in EverQuest a long time ago, where I was like, there's the original designers were obsessed with keys, and in a game where it's really not important, I guess, but some of the dungeons had like doors you had to unlock to go through, and it was a really awkward interface too. And you're already on a dial-up, so if somebody picks up the phone upstairs,
It's over.
You go link dead.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I remember being like behind a locked door. I had used the key to get in, and like we got wiped. Some idiot, it's like an infamous. Oh God, what was that thing where the guy's like, not Reno Williams, like he screams his name and runs.
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins. That's EverQuest.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins, where he's like, Leroy. He goes, and then he like triggers all these spawns. Everything dies. It was something like that where a guy was like, magicians have pets, earth pets, fire pets, whatever, and you have to be really good at using your pet. Like just, hey, you have commands: pet guard me, pet stay here. But the pets, his pet was like walking, and just like it doesn't walk in a direction, it stays around him, but it has a walking path that it follows, and it walked out of the room and triggered, and I just brought back all this shit, and we were like. And half the people were AFK, like getting a drink or something, relaxing. And I'm like, oh, So I'm like, I was a monk at the time, and I was like trying to feign death because you could pretend to be dead. And I'm like, feign death, oh, and it worked, but everybody else got killed.
Everybody else gets wiped out.
And I'm sitting in there, and I'm like, and I can't get up because the creatures, the NPCs are standing right next to me, and they'll pound my butt. And there's like 4 or 5 of them, and I'm like, okay, well, my buddies are like, just give it like 5 minutes. They'll walk away. They'll, it's programming. They'll walk away. And I didn't realize that I wasn't quite high enough level, so my feign death was kind of working. Like every few ticks of the server, they would do like almost like a dice roll to see if they detected me, and something was weird. So they were kind of thinking I wasn't dead. So they hung around. I'm like, after like 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm just gonna get up and run for it because I'm bored out of my mind. And they're like, you should be okay. You're fast. You're all right. You're fast. I'm like, all right. Yeah. So I get up. I take 2 steps, and they're like, wham! They hit me with a root spell, so my character stops, and I couldn't move. And then they hit me they just hit me with a mess spell, or not a mess spell, a poison spell, and then they swamped. They literally just crushed me there.
Oh my God!
So I died. So I was stuck behind a door with no way to get there, and I wasn't. Like I was kind of friends with most of the people I was with, but I wasn't like good enough friends with them where they would just bring my body back. And they totally left my body there. Like they totally left my body there, and there was nothing I could do. And so I was just like, okay, well, I guess gotta pay somebody. It took me like a day to find someone that I could pay to sneak down to this piece of crap dungeon and drag my corpse back out because it was really dangerous and nobody wanted to do it. And I'm like, you bastards, that's those things where you're like, is it worth it to get this stuff off my body again? Can I buy that stuff back? I mean, it's not like you're going to lose any more experience points if you don't get it. But there was money on there, and there was loot, and there was like a dagger I paid a lot of money for. I'm like, I gotta get it. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just have to let it go in that game, and that's EverQuest. EverQuest is like, I mean, even at the higher levels, like if you hit like 60, you can still like get to the point where like you're up against something that's going to kick your butt. There was a dragon that spawns once per server. You have to do all these intricate things to get it to happen, and you awaken the sleeper. And when it happened in the old EverQuest on Brel Sorelis, one of the old servers I was on, it literally went through every zone and killed everything.
Oh my God!
Everything.
It just wiped the whole freaking server
until finally it got brought down. And
Jeez.
it was like they went from zone to, I was like, what the hell?
That's terrible.
And stuff like that. I love that game because it's so ridiculously over the top hard. And it's like, it's not like, it is kind of a little bit punishment. Like you're kind of punishing yourself a little bit, but it's like,
I
it's
like that
fun.
kind of punishment though. If you're
the reward feels good.
Right. When you can't beat something for like years, that sucks. But when you can't beat something for like a day or two and then you finally beat it, it's like the best feeling in the world. So like I can imagine going through a dungeon several times and just like getting destroyed by it, and then you get the right squad together, you get the right plan together, and you just crush that. It's just the feeling of overcoming. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, if you guys out there look up project1999.com, if you look up the sleeper, EverQuest the sleeper, whatever, it'll tell you about it. Terraform was awoken on one of the servers, I think Rampage or whatever. It's only open once.
mm-hmm.
You can wake it up once and kill it once, and that's it. It won't respawn. But it's like you have to like do a quest just to get the key to actually open the area, and it's ridiculous. Like to even awaken the damn thing takes forever. You have to have like a ton of people. I mean, there was like, I'm not exaggerating when I say there was probably like 50 to 100 people wailing on this thing trying to kill it, and they could not kill it.
Just unkillable.
Oh my god! And then some of them, like there's a god, you can kill gods in that game. There's a god called Kazakh Thule, the god of fear and death or whatever. And Kazakh, like he casts like fear, and like like you'll be facing him. You'll have a couple of groups together. You're gonna go take him down or whatever. And the first thing that motherfucker does, he puts his foot down, and your character gets feared, which means basically a spell of fear is cast upon him, whatever. So your character you can't control your character anymore, and you bolt in random directions. Like literally, you're just watching your character. You just sit back and watch. Your character just runs. It just runs and it won't stop running. And you can't cast. Yeah, you can't cast spells. You can't hit. You can't do anything. Like literally, your character's just going to go until that fear spell runs off. And
that's tragic.
It's pretty damn funny actually. But like I love that. It's just the danger in that game. It's kind of like playing tabletop D&D with a really, really bastard game master, dungeon master. Like somebody is just like, you guys are doing pretty good. I think I'm gonna kill you because I don't like your face. Oh, you wanted that sword? Yeah.
They'll never play D&D.
I love D&D. I like playing it if it's fun with the right kind of people. But
I love to get into it, but
you have to have a group. Well, not now either. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. I mean, you could probably pull it off through something like this, though. Just, get a group video going and just have everybody all together and just, roll your dice.
Roll your dice. That'd be kind of fun.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
I used to play Star Wars tabletop RPG when I was in high school.
I'd love to do that.
It was fun, but it's with anything like that. There's a chance that weird things happen. So like I remember rolling the dice. I was like, I was gonna die. I was on some Hoth like planet or whatever, and there's a walker looking at me, and it was about to shoot, but I had a chance to move first or do something first. So I was like, I can't run. I'm a Wookiee. I'm not gonna go too far. I'm not gonna dodge that. So I was like, whatever. I shoot. And then my buddy, who was a game master, was like, really? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out in a blaze of glory. And I rolled dice. Well, I rolled a 12, which means you get those. That counts, and then you get to roll again.
Right.
So I hit it. I get to roll again to see how much damage I did. So I rolled a 12 again. And then I rolled a 12 again.
Oh my God.
I rolled a 12 3 times. So I blew up the walker with my bowcaster. Which, I mean, he was like, well, you can't really. I'm like, look, motherfucker, you got to think.
Listen here. That's a perfect shot 3 times.
Literally. It's
perfect.
I was like, so your walker's dead. So now what are you going to do? He was like, there's no freaking way. And my buddies and I are laughing our asses off. And they're all like, dude, you have to let him have the kill. You watched him do it. He didn't cheat.
Like
It's like,
you can't be perfect and lose. Like
exactly, yeah. I'm like, I didn't cheat. So he's like, ah, I gotta go out for a cigarette. I gotta think of something. I'm like, go have a smoke. You're fine. Whatever. Figure it out. And he did. He figured out a way to continue the story, but he wasn't prepared for that at all because all of a sudden he's like, well, you guys were supposed to steal the walker later.
oh, so you crushed that part of the story.
I derailed the entire thing, and that's the fun part about the tabletop shit. You don't know what's going to happen. It literally, you have no idea. And EverQuest is kind of like that, where you have no idea. Like every character, every NPC, if you right click on it, it'll con a certain way. But some of them hit hard, then hit harder than you realize. Some of them, like if you're in the woods or whatever, and you're attacking a wolf, if another wolf walks by, it's going to add. It's going to attack you too, and the other one's going to attack you. Right. Some of them call for help. You get your ass kicked. It's pretty bad. Sometimes creatures just walk past, like an orc, and they're like, oh, you're fucked, and it'll like just start attacking you too. So it's kind of fun. I mean, it's just hard. But what's we were going to talk? It's kind of fun. I think people are enjoying this. This will be the first video I think we've uploaded to our YouTube channel ever. Like ever. And since like, when did we start doing this? This will be our 41st episode.
2017 early.
Yeah,
well, no, I started in 2017, so late 2017 is about the time.
Dude, your brother got fat.
And hairy. Look at
that dog.
What are you doing? You gotta find the perfect spot, huh? Not comfortable? There you go.
That dog is so big. It's ridiculous. Oh my god. It's like, this is my bed. Okay.
It's cool being able to do it like this. This makes it a
little bit different. What's that poster behind you on the wall?
Well, there's the Joker one, and then there's White Goodman taking the bull by the horns.
I love that so much. I was telling Kelly, because we watched Heavyweights the other night, and that actor,
oh yeah,
what the hell's his name again?
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller was in that movie.
That movie, Adam was telling me, he was like, dude, I just watched that movie, and he was like, dude, I swear it's a prequel to Dodgeball, because it was all about the fat camp, and like he was like, dude, and then they reveal in Dodgeball like he was a fat ass, so like maybe it all went together. Like
it wouldn't be surprised.
Came out of that camp, got real fat.
I'd never seen that movie, and Kelly's like, we gotta watch this.
Dodgeball's so good.
Dodgeball's supposed to be pretty funny too, but especially if it's like a continuation,
If you've never seen Dodgeball, I highly recommend. It is a hilarious movie. It's got Rip Torn, Justin Long, all kinds of people in it.
Justin Long keeps posting pictures on his Instagram with his mom. Grandmother. I think his grandmother. It's grandmother. She's like 102, and he's always like, everybody's famous, favorite grandma. He's funny to follow.
Yeah.
I just realized I have Snoopy and a rainbow behind me on the fridge down here. That's kind of different.
That's pretty cool.
I got my Spy Hunter. I found all sorts of fun stuff when I was down here cleaning my stuff from my Commodore 64. I got my instruction manuals to Spy Hunter and Zaxxon. And they were the floppy disks, the big square ones you put in. Like,
yeah.
I got all sorts of junk back here. I got to go through this and clean this place up. I found my, I've got like, what should I call it? My ColecoVision games. I found all my old Atari ColecoVision things, which is kind of cool. I don't have that system anymore. I've got the games, but on the system.
I know how that is. I got a PS2 game I cannot play. I do have a PS2.
We do. That's the only one we have. Kelly and I stopped at PS2 because with kids, we're so busy all the time too.
You just lose that time. So.
Oh yeah. I was going to have Kevin Miner join us tonight, but he's got a new baby, and he's like, I can't. Like, there's no way.
How dare you produce?
How dare you reproduce?
How dare you?
We were talking about what were we talking about recently? Oh wow. This might be a good place to actually take a quick break, and I'll stop it and I'll restart it. We'll do it that way. I don't know if I can edit this right, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And we're back. Lovely, not Commercial break. Um, we were talking about earlier how Batman, like all these movies are getting pushed back. They're getting pushed
Everything.
back hardcore, but some of the stuff isn't. Like Scarlet Witch is coming out in November, and
Black Widows.
Black Widow, not Scarlet Witch. I'm sorry,
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow, and it's
Same
like
thing.
I want to be excited about the movie. It seems kind of cool. I mean,
I'm excited for it for one reason. I think it is going to be the ultimate setup for the Thunderbolts movie. I think they're going to announce a Thunderbolts movie not too long after Black Widow comes out because they're de-aging Thunderbolt Ross for Black Widow because he looks old and wrinkly and shit. Like, he does not look like he's the age that he's supposed to portray in Black Widow. So they de-aged him a bit. So I'm thinking it's going to be really easy for them to use de-aging and make him go full Red Hulk Ross and get a little team together, the Thunderbolts, because they've already got like the setup for it with, you know, all the stuff that they're doing. Like they're blank slate now. Like the Thanos shit is done. They can do whatever they want. If they don't want to immediately jump into like the next massive bad guy, the easiest way to do it is start a team that seems like they're good guys, but they're not really. And, you know, then the hero's got to deal with fighting somebody that the public thinks is the good guy. And like they could do a whole Dark Avengers.
it's true. The Dark Avengers thing was cool. I like the
idea of like Bullseye being Hawkeye.
Yeah, and he's crazy as shit.
Yeah, it's
I like David Harbour as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's great. I listened to a really good interview with him on the Armchair Expert podcast, and he was talking about how like he suffers from depression. He's been, you know, he was an alcoholic. Now he's dry. You know, he's been, you know, on the wagon, whatever you call it, for a long time, and he's like bipolar or something like that. Where he was like, it's a struggle, you know. And if you look at him as an actor, like you can kind of see that a little bit.
Right.
That he's kind of a tortured soul sort of thing, but he's really good. I like the idea of seeing him with Alexei. But yeah, that, you know, this takes place between Civil War and the last
and Infinity War.
So it leaves open for it's all sorts of cool stuff. I mean, it's going to be Taskmaster. Was Taskmaster supposed to be a thing with that?
He is.
Does he look like Taskmaster? Like, because his costume was cool as shit.
He does. He just doesn't have the skull as a face. It's
come on.
Because it's like, how you gonna explain that he actually is a skull face? Like Red Skull, it was just like a really disfigured face that was red. Like, Taskmaster, it was a skull.
I know.
Like, it was straight up.
Taskmaster is a shield agent that's so deep that he forgot he was a shield agent, and I love that aspect of it is pretty cool.
I heard many leaks saying that he is a guy, because there was a lot of people theorizing that the twist was going to be that one of the girls alongside Black Widow was going to end up being Taskmaster, as a big plot twist of like, oh shit, I was building it up in my head.
That would be an ass of a plot twist. It's like,
it was gonna be really a girl no one was looking for, because the two prevailing theories were they didn't say who Rachel Weisz was, so maybe she's Taskmaster in disguise, because they did confirm she went through the Red Room. And they were like, all right, maybe they're changing Taskmaster, because they changed characters before. It wouldn't be the first time the MCU changed a character. But the idea that you could go through the Red Room over and over to the point where it just fucks your brain, and you can like pick up anything you're seeing and use that as like your power absorption. Like Taskmaster, that's all he does. He watches you fight for a minute and he's like, well, I know every move you're gonna do. It's over. Like, that's why he's so dangerous. So like,
and he can combine people too. He can combine like Hawkeye's accuracy with Spider-Man's agility. Well, not his strength, but his agility. So Captain America's fighting technique.
Like, you really got to pull out the unexpected when you're fighting him. Otherwise, he's gonna know everything you're doing. So like, a bunch of people were like, all right, it's just a little too convenient that they don't show Taskmaster like his like. he's not skull face, so you know he's like got a mask on. You don't see any eyes. There's nothing to see except the outfit. You can't really determine just by looking at the outfit whether it's a dude body or a chick body. And they were just like, if they didn't say what Rachel Wise was, that's our first guess, is that she's just going to be their gender bent taskmaster.
Gender bent taskmaster. Oh, it's a creepy sounding thing.
But then the next one was the next theory was Hawkeye was going to be taskmaster, and it was going to be that portion of the movie wasn't going to be in between Civil War and Infinity War. It was going to be when they first met, Black Widow and Hawkeye, and he was going to be taskmaster for SHIELD, and it would explain why he has the bow in this movie, or why he's insanely good with Captain America's shield when he grabs it in Age of Ultron. So they were saying that would explain that.
That's cool.
Plus they confirmed that when Taskmaster and Black Widow fight, it's in Budapest, and that's all Hawkeye and Black Widow go back and forth referencing is Budapest. That time in Budapest, and like they disagree on what the events were, but they both have their ideas of what happened there. And so a bunch of people were like, oh well, maybe the Budapest event was they were trying to kill each other, and then they came together and fought something else. But I seen potential leaks saying that Taskmaster isn't Tony Masters. But he's not a gender bent Rachel Wise. What he's gonna be is an ex-boyfriend spy dude of Black Widow, and she's gonna not be aware that he's still alive or still in that world or whatever, and they're gonna get into a fight, and there's gonna come the moment where she's gonna knock his helmet off and realize, oh shit, that's my ex, and that's gonna be him. But the real villain is gonna be Iron Maiden. Which is Rachel
Tony's.
No.
Oh no. Oh, the one with the mask, the gold mask or whatever.
Rachel Wise is gonna be the Iron Maiden.
That'd be kind of cool. That'd be a nice bit of a twist.
Yeah,
different. Like to throw somebody in there.
All these trailers show her as fighting with Black Widow and on that same side, but you go see the movie in theaters, they're expecting a lot of casual fans that don't pay attention to stuff to be like, wow. But
yeah, you have to do that with some of these movies. I think they dumb it down a little bit. I shouldn't say dumb it down. It's to say, but that's kind of what they do. It's like, for the average audience. So somebody just walking in the movie with their kid can go, oh, this is kind of entertaining. If you could make a specific Marvel movie.
Yeah.
You could have made Infinity War exactly like it was in the comics, and it would have been awesome.
Far off of what it really was. The only difference between that and Gauntlet is just it's much more cosmic. The comics are way more grand in scale. Like he's literally killing off the gods one by one.
Oh yeah.
And then he fights the universe and wins, becomes the universe, and then loses. They
Nebula.
It's still really cool.
Rotten face Nebula grabbing the gauntlet off his hand.
That would have been horrible.
That was so bad.
Why was her skin boiling and
Well, he did that to him. Remember?
I know, it was just so gross.
He did that.
He was just like, you know what? I hate you. And then she just, melted.
Good Lord. And then the Batman movie got pushed back till 2021. You said far into 2021.
Well, it was already going to drop 2021, but it was only a year and 2 months away from now that it was going to come out. They pushed it back 5 months. Come here, dog. Liv.
Come on, your dog.
Yeah, he's down there. Silly dogs.
Quiet, hush. We're trying to work.
Yeah, it was originally going to come out June next year, but they, because of all this,
All I can see is your dog right now. She's so cute.
she's
Oh my
adorable.
god, that's so funny.
They pushed it back July, August, September, 4 months, because they're accounting for 4 months lost of production. As of right now, at least, it might get pushed back even further. But yeah, Black Widow got pushed back. All of Marvel's Phase 4 got shifted except the Spider-Man movie. Every single Marvel movie, just like if um, if Doctor Strange 2 was going to drop on this day, and then Guardians or Thor or whatever was going to drop on this day, they took the one that was before Doctor Strange, put it in Doctor Strange's spot. Doctor Strange took this spot. That movie took the next movie spot. So now all of Phase 4 is pushed forward like anywhere between 4 months to a year ish, depending. The only movie that's still in place is Spider-Man 3, and that's because Sony's making it. So they're not really on a rushed time schedule, because they said they're going to drop it next year, 2 years from now, or something like that. I want to say it's like March 2022 or something. Um, but yeah, it's like all of Marvel stuff got pushed back. Shazam got pushed back. Shazam 2 just got pushed back to the end of 2022, and the Flash movie got brought forward. It's going to be here around the time that the Batman movie would be here.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. That's good. Is it? What's his name going to be in there? Is he playing the Flash again?
It's his movie. He I want to say he
Oh,
wrote it. Like,
oh, really? Oh, that's
yeah,
cool. I saw the
or at least he's part of it.
I haven't
Um,
watched the Flash on CW like for years, but
yeah,
I saw the crossover they did with him where they
it
were
was a
like,
really cool crossover. I
it was
mean,
funny. He was like, "Is that
just some of
cos?
the
Is this cosplay?
is
This
this
is really?" He's like,
well,
"No, what? No."
because his outfit looks so legit compared to the TV shows. Like the TV show looks like poor store quality. Like,
Like underoos, like he's wearing underoos.
yeah, for real. But like, his outfit's made of like spacesuit materials and shit. So like he's all good. But
Pretty funny. But it's interesting, like the differences. I like that though. They kind of introduced him into the multiverse a little bit, like just sprinkled him in there because that was the first time he'd seen another version of himself,
I
right?
really hope they do Eobard Thawne right. Um,
It's really
like
easy
the
to screw that character up.
It really is. And if he's not evil enough, I'm gonna be upset, because he's supposed to be evil, like pure evil. Um, like I just don't see it being some, like, when Venom came out, I loved the movie for what it was, but the villain wasn't evil enough for me. So it pissed me off. Riot was cool as a symbiote, but the dude that Riot took over was just not an evil enough believable character for me. So that part of that movie was a negative. I hope they don't do the same with something like Eobard Thawne, who's literally like, "Hey, let me go back in time and just murder your mother." Like, Jesus Christ, dude, that's
It's pretty
terrible.
bad. Like and the actor does make a big impact on the role. I mean, if they pick like, well, let's use like, I don't know, Michael Keaton
Hmm.
for Eobard Thawne, like it's not going to go good. This
No,
isn't no matter how you cut it.
he would have to really act his ass off if he was going to pull off that role. Like, it would not be easy for somebody that's as cool as Michael Keaton to be that evil. But
Yeah, I never heard they could really cast as Eobard. I mean, there's a lot of actors out there they could do, but I wonder if what if they cast somebody that doesn't have really good like acting ability, like
I wonder if
Juna
the
Sutamano, the guy who plays the new Chewbacca, like some
oh
giant
yeah,
dude.
he's
So
huge.
heavy Eobard be super fast, but also like gigantic.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Um, God, what else happened as far as movies go? Um,
Nothing. Like nothing's going on at all. I
oh yeah, New Mutants got pushed back for the 10th time.
Are you kidding me right now? Why even release it?
Because of this, it was gonna drop before all of this. They said it was like April 5th. It was gonna drop, but then this all, like, the whole country went on lockdown second week of March, so or well, third week of March. But um, just 2 weeks prior to the New Mutants dropping, they just shut down the whole country. So they were like, well, shit. So like it got pushed back. But my whole thing right now is Disney owns Hulu, Disney owns Disney Plus. Two platforms where you could easily just say, all right, we clearly have like lost enough money delaying this movie 10 times. Let's just, you know, the cost of watching this movie is the cost of your subscription fee for one of our services. If you want to see that movie, go buy Disney Plus. You know,
That's true.
if you want
That's
to see
true.
that movie, go get Hulu. Or if you want to see this movie and you don't have either, get Cody.
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah, that's very true.
I mean,
But then,
granted, I got both Hulu and Disney Plus, so I'm not worried about it, whatever they do. But
we got
at this
we got
point,
Disney Plus, and it lagged the crap out of my Fire Stick. Every Fire Stick we have.
yeah, on the early months it was pretty rocky.
It's pretty bad. I just got CBS All Access mainly because my mom shares our Amazon account. I wanted to let her watch uh, Star Trek Discovery and Picard and stuff
Mhm.
like that. You know, which I mean, I Discovery. I'm like whatever. I like Discovery when they put Captain Pike in there because it got really cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Anson Mount is a really cool actor. And
Hmm.
Picard, we've watched a few episodes. We kind of slowed down because of everything that's been going on. And Kelly's working on her comic, and I've been, trying to figure out a way to get the podcast up and running again. So I haven't really
Yeah,
caught
yeah.
up on the rest of Picard, but like I don't know, like there's certain services I can't see myself paying for.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, like we got HBO just to watch the last few episodes of Game of Thrones, and then I canceled it because there was nothing
They're
else.
offering a bunch of shows right now free. You don't need a subscription or
Yeah,
anything.
I saw that.
So
You know, some of the stuff like Sopranos has been off the air for a long time, but
yeah, my dad watched The Wire all the way through. He's never seen it, and I never seen it, but he was like, you know what? They're offering it for free. Never watched the show. People are saying it was pretty good. He just burned through it. He burned through it in like a week. So, you know,
Hush,
quarantine times. What else can you
Hush
do?
Carlisle wore a huge U-shaped bump in that couch cushion with his ass watching that show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's awesome. I don't have a couch like that. You've been in my house. My couch does not have a comfort factor because it's French provincial, so it's
Mm.
very fancy. I'm looking at my wife right now painting. I'm just like, it's terrible. I can't even lay in the damn thing because my shoulders are so broad that like they hang off it. It's like,
Oh my
no,
God.
it's not fun.
Yeah, we just got a new couch. Moved the one that was upstairs in the living room to down here. And then the guy came, dropped off the couches, and he was like, "Yeah, we were forced to do that social distancing stuff, and because of that, we literally require everybody that we're dropping off to pull the couch into their own house. Like we're not allowed to go in and do all that stuff.
It's
It's
safe.
it
It's
just
much safer. You don't know if
it,
people in there. People are filthy. Some dude was
right.
in the store the other day at Kroger's. Well, the other day. I haven't been out. I haven't been shopping in probably like a month now, maybe a little less. You know, last time I went out, I wore a mask and gloves. But I was
Yeah,
in Kroger's, and this guy was in there without a mask or gloves,
I
and
was
he was.
just in Nino Salvaggio's just 2 days ago, or no, yesterday. This was yesterday morning, and everybody in there masked up and gloves. Just this one older white dude, not giving a shit, walking around wide open, mouth breathing, and I'm just sitting there like, you are asking for it, sir. Like you are definitely over the age of 65. You are definitely the most at risk to die from this thing. You need to like either put on a mask or go home. You are asking for it.
Well, that's the thing is that they don't. You know, a lot of people don't realize just how dangerous it really is. You know,
Hmm.
and it really. I mean, it is. My mother-in-law's a nurse. They lose 20, 30 people a night. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
then no, that's
dangerous.
terrible.
You know, I mean, some of the hospitals are stacking the people up like cordwood in these
Yeah,
rooms
yeah.
because there's nowhere to put the bodies. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, New York's working on mass graves in public parks right now.
And it's like
That's
people
that's crazy.
they watch these other news like Fox News and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, it's all fake. It's fine. It's just a conspiracy." It's like, no, it's not. You
Dude,
idiot.
every
You know.
single one of them people that just went to Lansing last week and protested, I hope every single one except the children get this virus, honestly.
Pretty
And you
bad,
know
isn't
what's
it?
terrible is I think I can guarantee from a picture and post I saw that there is a kid that got the coronavirus at that rally because I saw it made me laugh out of my dark humor like sense, but like just knowing that it happens is the most tragic thing. this kid is holding this sign talking about the stay-at-home order is unconstitutional. Mind you, this kid's probably like 6. He does not know what he's holding. He does not know the weight of the sign that he's holding. And right behind him in this picture is this dude holding one of them "Don't Tread on Me" flags, and he's like wearing it as a cape. And I saw this this post that somebody shared from the guy that was wearing the flag, and he was like, it said something about him like giving out candy and whatever to the protesters. And he was like, yeah, but I found out I got coronavirus. So if you were in contact with me, then, you might want to get yourself checked. So I have the coronavirus. I was around, these areas. So if you were on these blocks, get yourself tested. And like one of the first pictures that popped up in reference to the guy wearing the flag was him right next to this little 6-year-old kid. And it's like, you realize how reckless you are just because you think it's some kind of like hoax. You think it's all a joke. You think it's made up. Like,
yeah, because these people are stupid. They really are dumb. It's unnecessary. It's taking chances unnecessary with not just your life, but the people that have to take care of you. I'm
gonna be honest. Like, I feel like a piece of shit being stuck up in this house doing nothing all fucking day. And doing what I do. I don't know about what your current job is talking about as far as when you're going to go back, but me and Greg have been talking, and we know like we're going to be the last ones to get our jobs back. Like, at least get back rolling.
You work in hospitals, so they're not going to have you guys
not letting vendors back in anytime soon.
In my job, we service like my accounts, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. When they open up again, I'll go back. But it just pretty much depends. I talked to my boss recently, and he's like, you're going to be one of the first people we have come back. It depends on the clients and who's there. But my company's still in operation because we service the hospitals and the prisons, so they're not going anywhere. So we still have to be in operation, and we're stocking the vending machines, things like that too. The vending is a different part of the company than what I do, but yeah, it's weird. A lot of people are kind of worried about what their careers are going to be like. The Comic Cons have all shut down, and I don't think they're going to come back to the way they were, unless I can't
many
imagine
people in such a small space,
and people are
the same way.
Filthy at the cons.
Absolutely,
a bunch of unwashed monsters, So that's changed completely.
Until we can guarantee as a world that this virus is not in a spreading state, like nothing's gonna return to the way it used to be. Like
you gotta wonder,
fucking AMC theaters just said even with the bailout that every business is getting, like they're probably gonna have to close the majority of their theaters countrywide. AMC theaters, the biggest theater chain in America, is gonna have to close a bunch, and it just made me think like MJR. Imagine. You got any Pepsi down there? What? Pepsi? No.
Quiet, hush. We're working here. No. Sorry.
What was I saying?
Yeah, the AMC.
Oh, the theaters. Down, yeah. Yes, I can't help but think. MJR. Imagine. Any of the Cinemarks that still exist. The Celebration Cinemas on the other side of the state. Like, how can they possibly stay alive through this? They had to forfeit the final runs of all of the movies they already had in theaters, and all these movies are being pushed back now. They got to wait even longer before they can get back to making their money. All the employees are gone. They're laid off indefinitely. And who knows if they're just going to hire back the same people or if they're going to have to fresh hire, because then people probably went off and found other jobs that are considered essential so they could get their money still, because, depending on what you got.
You'll see a lot of companies taking advantage of the fact that they can hire different people back and start people at lower wages so they won't rehire the same people. Yeah, this is going to change our lifestyle completely. I don't think things are ever going to be quite the same as they were before, insofar as like how people interact with one another, what our society is like. Masks are going to become a thing of the that we do all the time.
Asia's been doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like China knew they had 1 billion people. They've been wearing masks anytime they get sick, almost always anyway, unless they were discourteous people. But I mean, you got 1 billion, there's going to be a few outliers. But like, Japan is the same thing. People get sick, they put on a mask. Like, they don't want to spread the infection. This whole thing is just an anomaly that just grew like way beyond what anybody would have thought. But once it hit here, Americans don't care.
Yeah, it's interesting.
We're going to be the only country to hit 1 million cases to ourselves. That's disgusting.
Well, it's popping up in different spots. It's kind of weird. It's a strange time to be alive. My mom remembers how it was when polio was killing people in the summertime. They'd leave the city and they'd go up north to the cabins. A lot of people had summer cabins because it was safe. The kids out of the city, get your family away from what was going on. And people died, all the time from it. So it's life changing, and it'll alter stuff for a while or maybe permanently. But at least we can do this. At least, thank God, modern technology,
man. What would we do without it? Because
we'd be reading a lot of books, and we'd be building a lot of sheds. That's just good. I learned how to knit this week. It makes you a little doily for your. Yeah,
I'd throw myself down the stairs before learning how to knit.
Come on, the amount of belly button lint that you produce, you could literally make sweaters for the homeless for the rest of your life. I'm thinking about myself.
Don't tempt me. I'll do it.
I'm thinking about me. It's probably me. I am old. We might as well wrap it up. I think that should do it for the night. It's almost midnight already. I think it's pretty good for our first attempt. Hopefully, I can edit it and it doesn't look like complete ass. But at least the sound should be okay. And then sometime next week, I'll have an actual microphone set with a boom mic and all that that's coming in. So maybe a little better. I'm using an old headset right now because I don't really have a mic that I can really connect. So it kind of sounds okay to me, though. But we shall see. Anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you on the flip side.
Yeah, peace.
That worked out pretty good. Cool.